We'll do James domestic, James international.
Oh, I'm international.
That's tight.
Oh man, but
Cool.
it's great to have everybody on. We are doing retros, talking about retros tonight, and retros. I don't know, like I feel like we all essentially just collect retros. James International. You're probably the person that dabbles the most in like new tech.
Yeah, because of Puma. So like Puma basketball is big for me. Like I love it. I just like it's one of those things that I've had this discussion with multiple people in the Canadian sneaker community, and I just said like, I'm kind of gonna catch a wave of like Puma basketball. Like they seem to be the ones grabbing all the young stars, and I'm hoping to like not like benefit off it, just be cool to like, with that whole revamp, maybe they become number 2 to Nike and Jordan in the basketball game, right? Because Adidas hasn't made waves outside of, like, in my opinion, their sneakers are very average looking, but they have the star power though. They have the star power.
Yeah, RS Dream is an unbelievable silhouette. Those are so damn cool. I still need a pair, but I will get them eventually. But just the aesthetics of them, I have seen them in hand. They're very well made. Yeah, they're an outstanding pair for sure.
Well, for me, like Puma basketball sneakers, like if you feel the quality, it's like they're underrated. There's I think I have like one of the pairs I have that has like a loose thread. That's it. But like, and I wear them all the time. And I'm like, and I play basketball on them. And it's like one pair has a loose thread. And like, it's one loose thread. Everything else, like they're like my first pair, the Clyde Courts. So like the first ones that were released. I have the Peace on Earth colorway. So the Trayvon Martin Foundation one, which the detailing is unbelievable on it because it's like feathers. It's like a really detailed feather and no frame. I wore them in the winter time. I wear them all the time. It's just perfect condition. Oh my God. Crazy.
So like, I think we should like go around and talk about like the newest silhouette that you've bought. So like the newest thing, the thing that was conceived most recently. James Domestic, what's up? You wanna jump on this?
Yeah. So let's see. The latest tech, would the Air Max Evo count as new tech, even though it's just a mashup of old tech? I guess that would be the probably the newest, aside from of like an Adapt BB. Those would be like the newest tech shoes that I've worn outside of maybe runners. Like React, Infinity Reacts or stuff like that. Actually, that are more of a workout shoe as opposed to some I would wear outside of working out. Those three would be the newest tech heavy shoes that I've bought recently.
And that's the Vapor Max sole, right?
Yeah,
that has like the
it's the newer Vapor Max sole.
That's pretty new. I mean,
yeah.
I would say like anything post 2010, I would consider pretty new. Everything before that is like retro. Like everything pre Kanye Nike.
Sure. I mean, if that's the case, I damn well went down the line of every Air Max that's dropped since 2000, at least one version of it from 2010 to now.
What is it for you, Vin?
Well, first, let me introduce myself formally to James and Rico, because I've never actually
that's right. Yeah.
talked to you guys.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on,
nice
man?
To meet you.
Glad that you guys are on and we can actually talk other than the chat.
Sure.
I am 99% retro product. That's what I like. That's what I chase. That was the hardest question in the line of questions you gave us, Dave. That was the hardest question that I actually had to go to my wall and take a look, where my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing research." So I took a look, and you said within the last decade, and I don't know if you guys are gonna rag on me for this, but I got a couple pairs of Yeezys. I got Ultra Boost, just the white 2.0s, which I might get rid of, but they're so comfortable. I think it falls in. I don't know exactly when it came out. I think it was post 2010. I have, I have one pair of Wave Runner. I have like two pair. I have a Ronnie Fike, the mid, that he did with the yarn, with the Japanese yarn. Forget the name of it.
The Puma ones?
No, the Adidas Ultra Boost. It's really Adidas only. That's because I got kind of sucked into that Adidas wave for a little while there, which I'm completely over now for me. But that's the only like new tech, new product that I own. Everything else is retro. Everything for me will be retro. I'm a 90s kid. I'm an 80s kid. That's the stuff I like. I like leather. I like pigskin suede. I like, I like collabs. I like classics. Even when, and this could be a conversation for later, even when like they mess around and they'll take like concepts, they'll do a New Balance, but they'll do it on a newer model. I'm not into it. I like a 997. I like a 998. So for me, I'm probably going to be on the complete retro side. And I don't know if that makes me the devil's advocate or somebody's going to have to play devil's advocate with me. So I don't know where I stand, but I'm just kind of putting my cards on the table for this conversation on my perspective. It was hard for me to find any new product. I'm just not interested in sustainable materials. Sorry. Sorry.
Rico, what's up? What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, so I'm looking. So I mean, I do a manual labor job. So the most recent pair I have with the newest tech is I bought a pair of React Visions.
Nice.
Which they're incredibly comfortable. I did a 14-hour load for this customer and I was good. Like my feet were fine. So to have that, I have a Pegasus Turbo 2 that I used to run in. Aside from that, much like Vince said, I mean, I have some Ultra Boost, I have some Yeezys, I have I really wanted to try those like Cosmic Unities. Like I'm awful at basketball, but I love playing basketball. So like I definitely need a new pair because I'm still like balling like KD4s and stuff. But yeah, React I really like. I have a pair of 5740s, which I mean I don't think there's any new tech in there, but it's a newish model. So yeah, that's about it. So I kind of like to blend new stuff, and of course I chase retros like every human. Like it's so retros are so difficult to just stay away from. I think collecting sneakers. There's no way. I'm sure there's a way, but like your collection's not gonna. I don't know. I guess it's not gonna have like that same hit on Instagram or like with your friends who all go after Jordan 1s all the time, or all go after Dunks, or go after, even stuff like Asics or like New Balance 992s and stuff. Like, I think it'd be a really interesting shift for us to try to go maybe 2-3 months and only buy new models and only buy new tech and see what our collections would look like. It'd probably look pretty interesting, probably look pretty wild, considering the newer models that are coming out are, I don't want to say futuristic, but like are not, there's no nostalgia there. There's no instantly recognizable aspect of seeing a new model, which I don't know. I think that would be interesting if someone were to do that. I'm not going to do that, but if someone were to do that, that'd be cool.
I mean, you're absolutely right, dude. Like there's no new tech doesn't have a proven history, lineage, or that there's no story behind it. The silhouettes aren't proven, so people don't risk the evening fit on a tech heavy sneaker. Like I'm not gonna go out there with Infinity Reacts on with a whole look. It's just never gonna happen. That's not a thing for me. So to go out and get new tech, that takes, takes work for one, because you have to find something that's relatively interesting enough for you to want to wear. And to build a story with a sneaker, that's just not a thing anymore. It's hard to do. We're not young anymore. At least I'm not. I could care less about the newest basketball shoe. It's 2 basketball tech heavy for me to wear outside of the court. I'm 5'7", dog. I'm not playing ball like that. It's just not a thing. So you know what I'm saying? Like, let me keep it to what I can do and what I like, what I know, and what I'm attached to. So, I mean, a challenge to like what Rico was saying, to do something like that would probably be really difficult for me to get invested in a way that it would be like an organic setup as far as finding shoes that I would care to want to have, because I would have to dive deep into that world, and I don't think I'm ready for all that.
And I think like that's why, for me at least, like why I've gone towards like the Puma basketball side. Because if you look at outside of the Clyde courts, which were the first ones that, you know, they had a high knit, you know, kind of like at the time that was in. But if you look at the next model that came out, which was the Clyde hardwood, like the next Clyde model, and like if you look at the hardwood, it looks like a classic like Puma, only revamped. And I think that's why like you guys were saying, like there's no way you're gonna go rock a Cosmic Unity out to dinner, right? Like it just looks like you look like like, okay, this is a basketball shoe, right? Doesn't mean it's not an awesome pair. Doesn't mean it's not a cool sneaker, but like comparatively, like that's why I think I like Puma, what Puma's doing, because especially with their Clyde models, not necessarily the Irish Dreamer is a unique shoe, but if you look at their Clyde models every year, like the Clyde All Pro, like again, like that does look like a performance model, but you know, they could make a colorway like Kuzma's new version, the All Pro Kuzma or whatever it's called. Like I think Reed was one of the designers like to revamp it, and they had the lace, like he has the highs that look like, you know, classic retro like high top, but like the lows that haven't released here, I think they've released in Europe already. It looks like a good looking shoe. Like it looks like something that I'm gonna wear out, right? And it won't look like a traditional basketball shoe. And you know, it's very interesting to see, because Nike clearly is focused on the tech side, which is great, because you know, hey, all power to them. You know what I mean? Like they have all the money to produce that performance and that new tech, versus Puma, where they're like, okay, well, we have foam and we don't have, you know, like technically they have Boost, but it's like energy beads. They got rid of it because it actually, they were encapsulating it too much. They weren't having enough balance. But so they went to, you know, foam, and foam traditionally performs just as well as anything else in the basketball court, which is ironic, right? And yeah, so like they just don't have the money. So they're going to like look at it from, okay, what's going to look the best on and off court? And I think that's the reason why I have gravitated towards it. Like, cause to me, like we said, like I do like retros, obviously. Like, I mean, we grow up on it. And at least for me, I've transitioned to Adidas retros just because I wanted to be different. And I wanted to look into the, again, the history behind Adidas. And like, it was really, really interesting to dig into the history of ZX line, you know, and the old runners from the 80s. You know, like no one talks about it because it's like, oh, it's Nike, Jordan, that's it. And but yeah.
I mean, I think the newest thing that I have is probably the Endorphin Pro from Saucony. Like, you know, that was a running shoe. And, you know, it's like you said, the same thing sort of with the Ultra Boost tech. It has the little beads. It's a little bit more absorbent and a little bit more of a rebound than what Boost does. And so like for me, they were really cool. But I bought them for performance. I didn't buy them to really wear them out and rock them. And you know, the same thing, like Rico has the Pegasus Turbo 2. I have them too. And, you know, it's just for running. It's just for working out. Like I'm not going to buy that to rock it. And I think the newest thing that I have is like that New Balance, the RC 1300 Tokyo design. Like, and I bought them and I wore them once, and like they're cool. And I mean, they were, you know, it's so weird to me, like new stuff that's lifestyle that is based on something that was performance 20 years ago. And it's so
it still
weird.
looks like a retro.
Like light. it feels
still
so
looks like a
light,
retro.
and then I'm like, this isn't right. Like, I know what a 1300 feels like, and this is a modern 1300. It shouldn't be this light. Like Vinny said, I need leather, I need nubuck, I need suede, I need like that sort of a thick sole. You know what I mean? And I think they found ways to do what they've done, or what what we've had in the past in a better way, just like lighter, more sustainable, things like that. And but I think it's there's always something to be said about that weight of a shoe, and that feel like I bought this 30 years ago when I was in in elementary school. Like, I still kind of miss that heft, and knowing that I can like kick them around.
Well, it's funny because that's that's a part of the draw of the off-white Jordan 5, right? Like, it's a slim down Jordan 5. It's not clunky. I think the shoe is ugly as fuck. I cannot stand that shoe. But I mean, for for like practicality, I mean, it's a great shoe. It's light. You throw it on, you can beat it up as much as you want because the shoe already looks like shit. It doesn't matter. And I think, and like you said with the 1300 RC, like the fact that it's light, like that can make 1300s more wearable for some people. Except the 1300 like was a runner, so it's kind of different from lifestyling a basketball shoe. Even something like the Flyknit Jordan 1 that came out a few years ago. Like, I mean, I had a pair of those and I thought they were cool. I just didn't like the leather sock liners. Like, my foot would get stuck in there and it was irritating. But it's so that to me is always interesting, as far as how retros can still be relevant in 2021 and quote unquote wearable.
Well, the Flyknit Air Maxes were really nice as well. Like, the Air Max 1 Flyknits were a good shoe. Like, it was, like, obviously we might talk about it later, but it's cool to see updates on the retros, like, in the sense of, like, they keep the silhouette, they keep the colors, but then they make them lighter, they make them better. So, like, for me, like, my only Air Force One, so like, I'm not a huge Air Force One guy, but I do like it. And like we spoke about on the budget episode, like, I do limit how many shoes I have. So the only Air Force One I have is the Ultra Force from like Low, from I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was when they literally made them light and comfortable. They didn't make them like the clunkiness that they are, right? Like, they're a great shoe, but they're heavy. And this literally took away all that. Like, they're just light foam, comfortable shoe. From anyone else looking at the shoe, it just looks like the regular Air Force One. But for me on foot, it's a nice, comfortable shoe still. It still keeps the retro look. And I think that's important to continue. If you're going to, keep retroing things, like, if you're going to make it slightly different, make it more modern with modern tech and more comfortable. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cheap by a lot of companies to play on something that they know is classic, and they hit you with updated materials. To me, it doesn't say much to me in terms of the creativity department. Again, we're all different customers. We all have different likes and desires, but I just think that the one that stuck out to me that I thought was kind of cool was a Prime Knit Stan Smith. I thought for a summertime shoe, I thought that was a nice little play on a very classic sneaker. The reason I say that is because I think the Stan Smith leather is like plastic now, and they've upped the price on it. But and the Stan Smith, it's just a sneaker I always have in my. I'm sounding like an Adidas guy I see so far, which I'm not though. I'm not. But that was a sneaker that I was like, all right, that was a kind of cool take with modern materials on a classic shoe. But other than that, like, when they start messing around with, Flyknit or Jordan 1 for that matter, to me it's like a grail of a sneaker. They're classic. They're classic for a reason. I think James Domestic said it earlier that these new technologies have not like, I don't know, for me, you buy what you like, but you also want to buy something that in my older age, I want to make sure when I bought that New Balance 1300 JP that comes out once every 5 years, that was the last sneaker I waited online for. And I did it because I love that sneaker and I wanted my hands on it. It was right before the pandemic. It was, it was on the heels of the it was in February, and like 3 weeks later, everything shut down. Thank God I got that sneaker in, and I went for a physical camp out for that. I gotta tell you, I bought that sneaker as an investment through my older age. I'm buying classics that I'm going to wear I don't throw anything out. I'll sell if the trend doesn't work for me, if I don't like it. But for the most part, I'm buying what I'm gonna like, not today, not tomorrow. I'm not 22 years old anymore. I'm buying what I'm gonna like for the next 5, 10 years. And if these sneakers are made as well as that JP is supposed to be made, it'll last me. I'll be 70 years old, God willing, rocking that JP. Because I hope to be a sneakerhead, somewhat of a sneakerhead, and that's probably kind of like changed with my taste. So for me, the new tech is just, it's not going to hit. I'm glad, and it goes for every single company out there. This is a runner group for the most part, I think. We like Asics, we like Nike. Oh, some of us like Nikes. We like Asics, we like Saucony, we like
Adidas,
Diadora, New Balance, and we don't like their new models. I think I could generally make a statement here. We go after the N9000. We go after the 998s. We're going after the 990s. Who likes the V1s? Who likes the V2s? Who likes all stuff that's been out since God, we were either babies or we were kids, and we're still July 5, we're still going after it, and I think that's a testament to the sneaker silhouette. I think it's a testament to those companies, creative teams back then. And for them to retro it, I think is a joy for the new generation. I don't know. Will a LeBron 11 be as classic to this because LeBron is this generation's Jordan to a lot of kids, So is that going to be a big deal to kids 10 years down the line? I know it won't be for me because LeBron is nothing to me, but I don't know. I don't know if it will have that same impact, and it'll be interesting to see,
LeBron 7s kind of did. They retroed those, and those kind of flew, and people really like the Lakers colorway, and I guess that was the first retro LeBron with a Lakers colorway, so I think people were just really excited in general. I guess that was the only one. Like Red Carpet Sat, and that's a shoe that should have sold out immediately.
Right, South Beaches. South Beaches is supposed to re-release.
They retro them. They retro the South Beach.
Apparently they're supposed to release this year.
They're supposed to.
Sell. That probably is his top general release sneaker. I would think. I would think so.
So
yeah, I would have thought the same thing about Red Carpets. I was shocked that they sat for as long as they did. I mean, now they're all gone. Now they're all. I don't even know how much they're reselling for. But I mean, Red Carpet, that's one of the best LeBron 7s ever.
I think the 7 is probably his better model. The 7 I like the 9. The 9 was all right. I had a bunch of those.
9 was
after 9, I think that's when it got super tech heavy, at least for me, where the shoe just looked like an encore basketball shoe, and I couldn't really wear it outside of gym clothes. At least for me, I didn't like it. The 7 is an amazing shoe. Everything from 1 to 9 it was dope. I mean, think about when I think about the Galaxy 9, like that, the Kentucky 9, those were awesome shoes.
Like
you know what I'm saying? And that was the last time, that was really, after that, every shoe kind of got harder and harder to wear, for me anyway, personally. But when you look at a shoe like Puma, for example, like New Tech, when I go look at New Tech and I look at the price and I'm like, oh, I could wear this. This is kind of cool. I dig it. But they got the Puma suedes over here for $80 that are amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Fat laces.
I
put fat laces in those.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna rock those because the new I haven't figured out that world yet, or that look. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it has to do with pricing. When I see something as simple as a suede that's so cheap, and then you look at some of their basketball shoes now, I'm like $75, $80, or $200. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll take the ones I know. I'm digging those. I'll take every color you got. You know what I'm saying?
I
A
get
red
that.
Puma suede.
Yeah, I get that too, right? Because they just re-released the like vintage or whatever VTG or like whatever. It's like it's the same shoe, right? I mean, it's the same one,
Same shoe,
and they're all on sale already. You know what I mean? Like it's like it came out. It's like why would you buy it? Wait till it go on sale. They have enough of them. They're gonna go on sale, right? It's just like, and a lot of people do that actually, right? Like when they re-release some of these like retros, and it's like, oh, just wait for it to go on sale. That's not gonna sell. And I just like I think we had this conversation maybe in like the WhatsApp group, right? Like someone's like, oh, I just got these. I said, oh, I'll wait for them to go on sale. And they're like, oh. I'm like, because they'll go on sale. Like I'm not gonna just get them, right? But it's interesting you're talking about the LeBrons, right? So I'm a huge LeBron fan in that case. But I will say I'm not a fan of his basketball line because again, I like runners. I like low tops. I do not wear high tops. I do not wear performance heavy shoes out because no offense, I am not 13 years old. You know what I mean? I am 31 years old. I'm not like that age where I can pull it off and not look like I'm immature. Like I'm not saying some people can rock it. Honestly, if you live in a warm climate, I completely understand it. You wear shorts, basketball outfit, whatever, like, hey, you can rock that. Cool. But you just can't here. You know what I mean? Like there's a limited summertime, like I might wear shorts but again, I'll still wear low tops. But it's I agree though, like with the LeBron stuff, like as an example, just to compare it to like a Jordan line. Jordan's line's gonna blow it out of the water all the time because 90s, right? 90s, like for whatever reason, 90s design in sneakers just stands the test of time. It really does. Like it's like comparatively, it's like what's the next decade that's coming up? Is it gonna be like 2030 and all of a sudden in 2050 everyone's gonna be wearing 2030? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like who knows, right?
The LeBron kids don't have money yet, so they can't buy anything.
They will though.
No, so like
the 90s kids had money, so that's why we buy all the Jordan stuff because we.
Well, I mean, back to
we remember
Vince's
we
point.
all have real jobs. We all have means, so we can go back and buy all the Jordan stuff. So that's why the Jordan stuff is always technically going to be popping.
To that point, Dave.
Right now.
To that point, though, these young kids have bots. These young kids are our competition. These young kids know what they're doing. You know,
that's just what I was going to say.
What they're doing.
These kids have opened up 3, 4, 5, 6 resale shops in Phoenix alone. It's Phoenix.
Yep.
Like no, there's not many of us sneakerheads in Phoenix, but somehow they're all opening resale shops. They're all selling product, and
if Travis Scott wears the LeBron, it's gonna fly off the shelves. This is the way it is. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like Vince's point. What he said, like Jordans are at least that generation of shoes or that early onset of sneakers were when I say quality, I mean leather. You felt the suede. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't fly knit or some really thin layered shoe that didn't weigh very much. You know what I'm saying? Like you felt quality. And I mean, that's not saying that the shoes that we see now aren't quality in their own right, but we're talking about a heavier shoe, the 1 through what?
14.
Call it 14, right? Yeah. Those were, you rock those any day of the week. You know what I'm saying? Jordan 1s are now business casual. Everybody knows that. And the kids that are opening up these resale shops, you know what they're not wearing? LeBron. You know what they are wearing? They're still rocking Jordan. They're rocking SBs. They're rocking Dunks now because it's easier to wear. It's so much easier to wear. You know, unless you are like literally a 12-year-old kid, you know, what is that, 6th grade? It's not, you know what I'm saying? You're not rocking that.
Yeah. I want to jump back to something that Vin said. And I think I noticed it with everybody, which is the sort of Boost wave and how we all jumped on Boost. We all have Boost shoes, whether it be Ultra Boost or Yeezys. Sheesh, man.
Bro, I'm saying that's just the ones I have right here.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's just right here. Like this is just here in this little area.
OD.
These two are fire though. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that S&S one. Oh, great.
That was a wave. Now they literally are my everyday shoe.
But what was it about Ultra Boost and what was it about Boost that broke the mold? Because I feel like no other shoe within the last, I would say 10 years has been able to captivate people that were into sneakers and people like us who are into mostly retro older silhouettes for so long, right? Like even Vapor Max was kind of dope, but like I could go buy a Vapor Max now. Like they never were, they flew off the shelves like the first iteration, but that's every Air Max shoe that drops, right?
Yeah.
And so like what was it about Boost? What was it about that silhouette that made us like, oh man, like was it just the marketing? Was it just because Kanye wore them? Was it I don't know, because like for some reason that wave was the longest sustained wave of a new silhouette in a long time.
It was the perfect storm. It was a perfect storm of comfort, of look, and of kind of, it's easy to wear. Like you just throw, James, you have 4 or 5 just right by your desk. Like you just throw them on, you go to the store, you go to check the mail, you go to do this, you go to do that. It was the perfect blend of style, comfort, and functionality. That was the other word I was looking for. And I mean, since then, after that, we got the Roche run, and we got I guess that was really the only other thing, like really competing with it, to be like, hey, this is an easy to wear shoe. It's cheap. Ultra Boosts weren't cheap, but you can wear it to go to the gym. You can wear it to run. You can wear it to get groceries. You can wear it to get mail. It was just all of those things just combined. And then, like you said, the Kanye effect, or just that influencer effect in general, was kind of, Ultra Boost might have started the influencer wave in general, because that's the first shoe I maybe remember the masses being like, Kanye wore this shoe, okay, I need this shoe. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
But I think that was the really, really blow up internet one, where Kanye has on Ultra Boost. I'm gonna get a pair. I want to see what those are about.
I think it's,
and he had just switched companies as well. You know what I mean? So it was, you're right. Perfect storm. He had just left. It was the first shoe that we saw him wear. But for me personally, like, I still wear Ultra Boost on set every day. When I'm on set and we're filming, I wear strictly Ultra Boost. Why? Because they were the most comfortable shoes. They're functionally amazing. Like the first time I put them on my feet, I was like, holy wow, these are incredible. Like from a comfort perspective, I stopped caring about what they look like. Luckily, they were a really simple, easy shoe to wear. Boom, put some jeans on, put a t-shirt on, you're good, whatever. And they had every other possible colorway. The Kanye effect didn't really have much effect on me, because I'm still a fucking Nike head. It was more the comfort element of it. And then after that, I just needed to have them all. So when I went to work, my feet wouldn't hurt, right? To this day, I still wear them all the time. But that, talk about a company who failed forwards and just got all the luck in the world and just couldn't capitalize on it. Adidas, Jesus.
For me, I was apprehensive at first about the Ultra Boost. I'm like, what's the hype about? I get they're comfortable, but I hated the prime knit upper. I was like, it's ugly. But I saw Kanye was pushing it, and I was a Kanye head back then. Not as much as I am now. I'm not at all anymore. But back then, I loved his music. I went to one of his Yeezy shows where he went on his 30-minute rant of F you Nike, I'm going to Adidas, I can't wait. Everybody was like, what is he talking about? But we loved it, and little by little, I tried it on. You couldn't even find Boost. You had I forget his name. I think the president of John Wexler.
Wexler. Yeah, he's at Shopify now, but yeah, he was like the head of whatever.
He did Breakfast Club interviews. I remember he did a lot of marketing, and I'm like, all right, this guy seems like he was talking about NASA approved, and we got the patent, and I, just again, this goes against, like, because I'm Mr. Retro, all I do is retro. Like, I was very apprehensive. I was like, this is too tech for me, and I agree with Rico. I think this sneaker in and of itself, that 1.0, like, really changed, the shift from like all these like retro basketball, and it moved into like tech runners, and Kanye had a big part to do with it. Whether you like him or hate him, you have to give him his due credit to influence. And he continues to influence, he said that everybody will get a sneaker. Everybody's getting a sneaker, little by little, he drips it out, whatever he's got. He's trying to go like an Air Max line to me. He's trying to have different silhouettes. He's trying to offer us, things that we've never seen before. And he's got Steve Smith, who's done hell of a lot of work with New Balance, with Nike. The guy under you got Tinker at the top of the Holy Grail of Mount Rushmore. I think Smith is right there. Mm-hmm. So for Adidas and Kanye to tap him for his creativity and his design work, I think is a testament to that line, a line that I'm no longer really interested in. But I don't know. I just think back to the Adidas question. I think Adidas, like Rico said, it was a perfect storm of a lot of things, grabbing every single, a question I could piggyback to my response would be, do you think we're the target audience? Do you think like our age group, because of all these retros, do you think it's us? And I don't mean us because I know we're a niche group. I mean our age group. Do you think 30, 40-year-olds are kind of like the one that they're trying to attack? And then and then we're kind of like in a mini way, kind of influencing on social media or whatever the heck we hashtag. Oh, just a thought.
It's so just on the Adidas thing. So just because technically I'm international, James, so may as well get the Canadian, European side. So like, it seems like it's European as well, because like the A to ZX line in Canada did really well. Like the whole community up here fell in love with it. Like I fell in love with it because of that line. Like I was Nike retros and Jordans before like I even heard of A to ZX, right? And when A to ZX came out, and when I started to learn the history of like the original ZX line, and then everything that came out associated with all these like collabs, and like it wasn't even like a collab thing for me. It was just like, it was just interesting to see like the history that they were releasing. When they weren't doing collabs, they were doing history within Adidas to release in A to ZX. And I'm like, that's so cool. And I feel like, at least from the Canadian sneakerhead side, like even like John Ratner, who you've spoken with, he's a Jordan head. He's a Nike Jordan head. But even he was buying Adidas, right? Like same with like the Canada Got Soul guys, like they're a vast majority Nike Jordan. But every single one of them, now some of them were gifted A to ZX line, I will say that. But even the guys that weren't, like they were buying it, and they're like, yo, these are good, because honestly, it came down to the quality and materials, right? Where, we've spoken about that before, right? Like just from New Balance, like always having quality. It's like, okay, well, Adidas is, they make a lot more. And I think maybe Adidas doesn't get the shine because, like you're saying, are we the target audience? But at the same time, they're very successful with their Boost line still. You know what I mean? People, like you said, like you go to Set every day, right? We're Ultra Boost. Even like the hybrids of like, they put Boost on everything, right? And as a sneakerhead, you're like, oh, it's just ruining Boost. It's ruining, the Ultra Boost silhouette because they're just putting it in everything. But in reality, they're just making it more comfortable for everybody, right? They're like, okay, we're going to throw it in a Stan Smith. Does it look very good from a sneakerhead perspective? No, it does not. But people bought them. Like they didn't necessarily sell out, but because they made so many. And like, I don't know, from my end, because like I wasn't an Adidas guy before the pandemic, I will say that. But just from like maybe spending the time and just like going, okay, I've never heard of this. Maybe I want to be a little different. I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to see like, what this is about. And like now I'm going through and buying all the the original ZX line retros right now. So I have like 1,000, 4,000, 5,000. I'm soon to get 6,000, 8,000, and 9,000. And I'm like, but I'm just missing 10. I don't like 7 that much, I'll be honest. So I probably won't get, that will be like the last one I get. But it's one of those things that, I don't know. I agree. Like they definitely didn't capitalize on it when they could have. But if you look at them overall, they still sell a lot of sneakers. and they're still number 2, right? Like they'll always be number 2. No one's going to pass Nike. No one will. You know what I mean? Like Nike's so far ahead. They have every retro. They're a marketing genius. Anything that they touch, they're like, hey, we're going to get Travis Scott, this hype rapper, to freaking sell dunks again. Dunks that would sell for $25 in a bargain bin, and they're all selling for $600, right? Like Nike just knows who to go after. Hopefully with Adidas, hopefully Jerry Lorenzo can turn that around. That's kind of what they're banking on, I think, with their basketball line. But I don't know. Jerry doesn't have the pull of Travis right now, so we'll see what happens.
That's one of the things that Nike has done so much better than everybody else, is they've been able to anticipate the next wave. While Adidas was chasing Drake, you know what I'm saying, to pull Drake away from him, they had 36-year-old Kanye, old ass Pusha T, trying to get Drake, and Nike's like, that's fine, we'll take Travis. And look what that did. I'm saying it's just that vision that Nike has is something that I can respect, because I'm like, damn, those guys are trying to appeal to us. That guy's appealing to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I hate it as a dunk head and as an SB guy, when people are like, Travis brought SBs back. Well, for me, they were never gone. But, you know, when he did bring them back to pop culture, he did bring them back to a new generation of people who now care about SBs, who took them from a relatively unpopular shoe into probably the most popular silhouette of the last 2 years. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. That was just a little, since we're talking about influencers and Adidas. I have a big issue with Adidas. They fail forward so many times that I'm like, if you could just focus, you could do so much better. You could do so great. You had a 5-year head start on Nike and still managed to lose the race.
I want to just jump back to Vin's question, like about them, who's being targeted. I don't know, but like I know James Domestic, like we talked about this on the Nike episode, about like with Nike, it feels like there's 2 separate lanes, right? Like there's the sneakers lane, and then there's the Nike.com lane, right? And you can go on both of them and you will see completely different things, completely different products. You can't get anything on sneakers on Nike.com, and you can't get anything on Nike.com on sneakers, right? So I think Nike has done a really good job of like carving out a lane for the people that they want to like target, right? So like, oh, if you're like into sneaker culture, if you're like into pop culture, and you want to be in the know and you know, in the mainstream, we have sneakers. If you're into tech, if you're into just the latest, if you're looking for something cheap and inexpensive so that you can, you know, give to your kid or just to wear to mow the lawn, you know, you can come get Monarchs off Nike.com at any time, right? Like they have, I think they have like the ability to, like, you know, James International's point, to sort of like target people and like create products for every single niche out there. I don't think anybody else has that ability. Like Adidas doesn't have that ability, like New Balance. I think New Balance is actually doing a really decent job of carving out like, oh, I'm creating new stuff to attract new people, and I have like my old stuff. But I feel like they just haven't been able to keep up with production and give us enough old stuff to compete with them, to, you know, offer alongside their new stuff. Because it's just been a lot of new stuff, you know? And so I feel like if you're a really good company now, if you're a really good brand, if you're a really good sneaker, you know, producer, then you are able to find a way to target everybody and to give everybody what they want all at the same time. Because New Balance, like, you know, they sort of are on a wave or on the tail end of a wave, depending on how you see it, right? And everything is gone. Everything lifestyle from them is gone, right? Or was gone at some point. And so, like, that was just a testament to, like, you know, everyone. So it wasn't just like, oh, you know, this one thing that we sell, like Adidas. With Adidas, it was like, oh, Ultra Boost is hot. It wasn't like everything was hot. When Ultra Boost is hot, it was Ultra Boost is hot. That's it. there wasn't, people weren't selling out of everything else, like EQTs weren't selling out, ZXs weren't necessarily selling out then.
And
at least not in the
NMD.
Yeah.
Yeah, NMDs. Yeah.
Those were big for a little while. Out.
But Nike, whatever product they want to put out and sell out, they can do it, and New Balance, like I said, their lifestyle stuff was just selling out. But now, I see some of their lifestyle stuff sitting. So
327 sit all day now.
Yeah.
All day they sit. They're on sale everywhere.
I know. And so I don't know if we're being targeted. I think we have the money, but I think we're also savvier consumers, right? Like the 327, I don't own any. That shoe was really hot. If I really wanted a pair, I could have got a pair. But I was kind of but every young person, everybody under 29 was wearing a pair, right? You go to any influencer page, Jerry Lorenzo, he's not with New Balance, he was with Nike and he was wearing them, right? So they're not targeting me because they know that I'm gonna make up my own mind, right? I'm gonna be all right, yeah, all these kids are wearing them, yeah, I'm good. I'll wait. I'll see how long this lasts, right? And so I think they're not targeting us. They're targeting the 20 somethings, they're targeting everyone under our age, and then hoping that trickles upwards. At least with the new silhouettes. The older stuff is always gonna get a good mix, right? I'm always up for a Jordan 1. I'm not gonna buy every Jordan 1, but every Jordan 1 that comes out gets considered, right? Is that a reasonable, I feel like that's a reasonable assessment.
Absolutely.
Every Jordan 1 that comes out is no, I don't need it. But maybe. But maybe though. But I'm gonna try.
Or if you look at
every time I get a call from somebody, and it's a Jordan 1, I'm like, let me look at it. Let me get my hands on it real quick, and then I'll decide if I want to keep it, which usually ends up saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest with you. But you're right, though. I think the only company that's able to really market to various genres and various age brackets is Nike. I don't think anybody else has the capability or has the product line to even attempt that. Nike's catalog is dumb. It's amazing how many shoes they can go back and just be like, oh, word. 90s kids, what's up with these Jason kids? You know what I'm saying? Let's drop those one more time. Or we'll mix it up with a Vapor Max, but we'll throw it to the 90s kids because they might like it. They understand that we've grown up with the brand, and I don't think they force feed us bullshit as much as they can push it onto a younger demographic. That's why. So I've always felt that Nike's able to, because they're an enormous company. They're literally able to market Monarchs to the people who wear Monarchs, and Air Maxes to people who wear Air Maxes in every age bracket.
To your point, James, what you said before, that I think Adidas has done well in terms of who they chose to endorse. They got Pharrell, they got Beyonce, they got the Kanye is still, as however old he is, he's still a force, and they gave him his own line to create his own shit. Sure. My thing is what you just said, James, is nobody's got the catalog Nike has. Travis, you know what, Drake, we're gonna give you some whack Jordans. We're gonna give you the 9, or I don't know what Drake got. He got 9s, 10s.
Well, Drake got 10s and 12s.
Yeah,
10s and 12s.
He got whatever. I should say whack. Yo, Travis gets 4s. He gets 1s. We're gonna flip the Nike check, and what was the big blow to Adidas, because Adidas was just pumping out the same NMD every week. 20 colorways a week. It was ridiculous. They killed themselves. And then Nike went left. They're like, we don't have Kanye. We'll get his right hand man. We'll get Virgil. And Virgil dropped the 10. Now, I'm not an off-white guy, never, because I'm low fashion. I rock H&M in Patagonia and white tees. But his 10 was the right hook to Adidas' face. Right there. Yeah. That 10 dropped, and Nike's still milking that 10. They're up to 35 with Virgil now. You know what I mean? Nike knows how to not just, they have they took 10 silhouettes and they say, deconstruct these models. Do your thing, Virgil. And he flipped it, and he did whatever he did, and you never heard of about Adidas other than the niche, the ZX lines or whatever, like other than the niche stuff. And Adidas is a big company, and they got a bevy. They got a huge catalog too. But when in comparison to Nike, it's minuscule. It's not. And at the end of the day, which everybody seems to forget, is Nike to me has the best. This basically, I'm gonna keep it real basic. Has the best logo, I think, when it comes to any corporation that has to sell a product. I'm putting it up with McDonald's, Walt Disney, Apple. The fucking best logo to put on product is by far that Nike check. That Nike check is seamless. It's small. It's big. You can do whatever the hell you want with it. Whereas the Adidas 3 stripes is just not as sexy. You know what I mean? So I think Nike, and then they got Travis, and then I guess Drake is back with them, right? Drake is still Nike, right?
Yeah.
So they got their artists or whatever, but Adidas, they did their thing. They had Pusha T, that was pretty good for a little while. It's just they don't have the models to do it. You know what I mean? They just don't. And their marketing is not near as what Nike's marketing is. So yeah. So I kind of like agree, but kind of see it in a different light.
No, for sure. And that's the thing. Like the guys who they had, right? The guys we're talking about are huge names. Pharrell is incredible. Kanye, but those guys are our age. You know what I'm saying? How many younger cats, 10 or 15 to 25, care about Pharrell as much as we did when we grew up with him? You know what I'm saying? So I care about Pharrell immensely. My stepdaughter does not. You know what I'm saying? She could care less. Sure, some of his music is catchy. Hell, she doesn't even care about Beyonce anymore. You know what I mean? Like that. So those are great names for us,
right?
But not for the up and comers. And we're talking about, Travis got 4s, 6s. But let's not forget that the first shoe that he did with Nike was its very first Vapor Max. You know what I'm saying? That was the first shoe he got with Nike. He was the base of the Vapor Max campaign, and then he got a 1, or Air Force 1, and then he got a second Air Force 1, and those just went nuts. And they slowly became a thing. So it was a smart move by them. But that's neither here nor there. My thing was with Nike. What Nike's been able to do is when you jump on them, they kick you in the nuts. You know what I'm saying? Kanye, I jumped over the jump, man. He was like, cool, I'll take Virgil and Jerry. Those are your boys. Oh, you know what? We'll take Don C too while we're at it. Those are your friends.
Too, yeah. They
took
all his henchmen. They took all his circle.
Right. And then Jerry's like, I'm gonna go to Adidas. They're like, cool, we did our thing. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And then they're out looking for the next big talent. While we're getting ready for the next Travis 6, that's already a big deal. They're already working their deal for the next big name or the next big person. And they've got Adidas has Beyonce, which is amazing. But look at the arsenal of women athletes and women entertainers that Nike already has. They've got a Layla May just sitting in the back, ready to come out with more stuff. You know what I mean? And those women are still, they're maybe not the same level of name or person as Beyonce is. And I by no means am I saying that Beyonce isn't the queen. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, don't yell at me.
The Bay High will come after you.
You know what I'm saying? The Bay High, hey, I love her, you know what I'm saying? She's great.
They'll burn you.
You know what I'm saying? But when you put it up to like the younger generation, like they care more about other women now. You know what I'm saying? Not in so much, especially when it comes to the clothes. Sure, they'll wear the Queen Bee Ivy Park, but I could walk into Center or Sneaker Politics here in Dallas, and the shoes are sitting there. You know what I'm saying? They're still there. Where's the Lady Mays at? I just paid $400 for another pair of those damn things.
And that's also a testament to them, to how they curate people, right? Because like it's not just about the name; it's about somebody that's going to give you some sort of creative input and creative feedback, and in a way that's going to produce something. Like Beyonce is great, but she's not Melody Asani. She's not Alila May. Like she's not going to give you the creative direction and creative input on a sneaker to the level that they will. And she doesn't have the time, I can imagine, to like really sit down and go, okay, we're going to design this shoe. And this is like my top priority. She's like, I'm going to go on tour. Like, I'm going to make more money doing that than I am this, spending time doing the show. Like, I got to get these steps down. What you talking about? Like,
here are these silver and gold Forum 84s, right? Yeah. And that's basically what it is, right? Like Forum 84 mids, right? Like, it's like, I want to take it back to like that original, like, retro talk, right, where like Nike's catalog versus Adidas, and it really hit me because we just spoke about how the 90s catalog from Nike name something that Adidas made during the 90s. So one of their athletes. You can't.
Kobe?
Like Sean Kemp maybe.
Wait, say that
right?
again. I'm sorry.
Sean
Say that
Kemp.
again.
Like name like a 90s athlete or 80s athlete that Adidas had, like a retro shoe with outside of Sean Kemp. Iverson wasn't big until the late 90s, early 2000s.
Kobe.
Late
Remember that?
90s.
Sean Camp was with Adidas? I thought.
Oh, it was with Reebok.
Yeah, bro.
Reebok.
Reebok.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he was with Reebok.
Sorry, he was
Yeah,
Reebok.
Reebok.
There you go. So there you go. So it's like it's one of those things that like it's so hard to like the 90s were just dominated by Nike, right? Just dominated.
Sure.
Well,
Adidas
Reebok was there.
owned the European
Reebok,
market. They were. I mean, let's be really. I mean, I don't know how full of shit I am with this one, but Adidas was predominantly a soccer brand for most of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who had Adidas sponsorship? Jorge Campos, the goalie for the Mexican soccer team. You know what I'm saying? That's who I remember who had it because I played soccer, right?
Yeah.
So I had Campos and Gazelles and you know what I'm saying? Like, and Mundiales. Those were shoes that I would wear. I mean, American athletes weren't wearing Adidas. Nike was everywhere. Converse. It was a Reebok. Those were the guys. I mean, even when I think of football players, Emmitt Smith was with Adidas. Deion Sanders was with Nike. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember Adidas in the game until what? I couldn't even tell you, bro. Yeah, that's a great question.
But I said like that I think is the main reason why, especially our age group, like why we love Nike so much is because Nike killed it marketing in every, like we said, they were always ahead of the game. They literally signed every major athlete during that time. You say Kobe, but Kobe wasn't huge until that Lakers run with Shaq, right? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He was not huge. Like, yes, he was an all-star, things like that in the late 90s, but
and other than that first silhouette, that Audi-looking silhouette was awful.
The wedge.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, right?
That Audi looking, I don't know what was that.
So
the second
bad.
one, the third one.
It looked like a Kleenex box. Like,
I didn't understand what I was looking at. I was like, what the hell is that?
But you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to hit on that because like we're talking about this. I'm like, hold on here. Like 90s Adidas athletes, you're right. Like when I played soccer, that's when I was wearing like Diadora and Adidas soccer shoes, right? Those are the shoes that I wore. But like outside of that, there was no athlete that in the North American market that you can say like, oh man, yeah, they were awesome. That's why look at Air Max, right? Like Air Maxes were huge because their silhouettes were big. ZXs were big in Europe, Germany, Eastern Europe, but like no one spoke about them here because athletes weren't wearing them here, right? Like the Air Max line, you had Bo Jackson wearing them, right? You had Deion Sanders probably wearing them. You had every single athlete that we grew up with wearing them, and Adidas just didn't. So it's almost like for me, like again, I played catch up, whereas like, oh, there actually is history to this. Oh, they're actually really nice shoes. Oh, they're really comfortable. So for the A to ZX line, just as a heads up, all the ZXs have boost in the heel. So they're like super comfortable. So they're already a light shoe and then they added it, but based on like that, like retro that update that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, like I think that's something that we forget about is like, that's why Adidas, like you say, it was 5 years ahead, but like outside of Ultra Boost 90s, like there is nothing Adidas, right? So they were a whole decade behind.
Well, they had. They had that.
You got me curious.
They were the first ones to jump in the entertainment like lane, right? Because they had Run DMC and like the
80s.
The shell toes were like
Ewing.
Shell toes were popping always, like always.
I know.
And like, and they never. And again, they had a head start, and they didn't do anything with it.
They did nothing with it.
Nothing. Yeah. And that's always been the problem. Shit, they could have signed Jordan.
Hey, the forums are.
They could have signed Michael Jordan.
The forums are good.
You got me curious. I went and looked up like what basketball players were Adidas athletes in the 90s. It is a sad list, except other than Kobe for a year. Shrimp, Dikembe. I love Dikembe. I'm from Denver, so I'm all for that.
Dikembe, dope.
You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest name aside from like John Starks or Adidas. Who else we got? Let me go back to this list. I mean, it's not great. It's not great. Jermaine O'Neal. Yeah, that's a 98 guy too.
Nasty, man, for a while.
He was an all-star. He made an all-star.
Yeah.
Teamer too.
Antoine Walker.
He's broke now. He's bankrupt.
Joe
Because of
Dumars.
Adidas.
Joe Dumars was a Adidas athlete.
Mars.
Jalen Rose.
Okay.
I mean, Kobe did drop a lot on him. Mark Eaton.
Big center from Utah, Mark Eaton.
Yeah, exactly. And then I mean, T-Mac. T-Mac was an Adidas athlete.
Oh, right. T-Mac was a big star.
Yeah, but that we're talking about like 98, 99. That's 2 years before he moved into.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
was
at the
getting
end of it.
outshined by the whole AI line, right? So you know, it's all questions and answers, and like
we all wanted those. We all wanted those, Grant. Come on, don't say it like, hey, AI. Everyone wanted.
Yeah,
the AIs were great.
Everyone had the wristband on during school. Let's be honest. And you wanted the finger one, and they always sold out. Or your parents wouldn't buy it.
If you didn't have I wanted the sleeve.
The sleeve.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted the sleeve so
right.
bad. Give me the sleeve.
But 90s basketball, it seems like it wasn't Adidas. It was Reebok. Reebok had Iverson in the late 90s. They had the Kemp. They had Shaq in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yo, those Shaq pumps are ridiculous. If you're into it, that's a ridiculous sneaker. You know, they had Frank Thomas, who was hitting, I think he hit 500 home runs for his career. I'm not a baseball guy like that.
Didn't they have Emmett Smith for a while?
Yeah. They had Emmett Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did.
So they had
Sanders.
Like, Reebok had star power.
It.
Now it wasn't Nike, but they had stars, you know.
I mean, let's not forget Fila had a player in there, you know what I'm saying? Fila had Grant Hill. Like, I remember I was mad that my mom wouldn't buy me the Grant Hills. I had to mow many a lawn for my first Grant Hills.
Which ones you get? I had the ones.
The ones.
Yeah, I had the ones. I remember the twos were the ones that Tupac.
The twos with the two around. Yeah, they were cool. I got those too, but I didn't rock them as much.
Yeah.
Who else? They had the spaghettis. Stackhouse.
Jerry Stackhouse. Yo, I had those.
Oh, yeah.
They had. I'll do you one better. Jamal Mashburn. They had.
You're right.
Adidas
was in the game, bro.
Jamal Mashburn had a pair.
Yeah. I think they might even retroed it, if I'm not mistaken.
That's funny.
Oh. Yeah, no, Fila had a little run in with some basketball too. If you want to take it to the 80s, you had Pony, you had Avia, you had
Etonics.
Yeah, you also had like Spalding. You had I think Hakeem Olajuwon. You're a Houston guy, James. You know the Dream. He had, I think he was with Spalding, if I'm not mistaken. Ewing then did his own line.
I moved to Texas. I'm a Denver boy. You know what I'm saying?
Denver.
I'm in Colorado. Yeah.
Oh.
I came to Dallas. I'm a transplant. Remember what wasn't it? Alesis? And that was a basketball shoe too.
The what?
They were called Alesis.
Oh, yeah. I think they were running too back in like the 70s. Elise or something like that.
Alesis. Is that what it's saying?
Didn't they just make a comeback? They made like a really small comeback recently.
Yeah.
They have like a cylinder.
Converse weapons. They need to Nike needs to bring those back out.
The weapons are dope, James. The weapons are dope.
I would grab those. It's like if they release like a
give me the bird pair.
Bird pair.
Yeah,
honestly, even the Laker pair, even like Magic wearing them, like that. Those are such
Magic's 92 Dream Team pair. 92 Dream Team. He's got a pair of Converse. They're sick. They got his number on it. They got the red, white, and blue. It's so nice.
Nike's just waiting. Just so you know. Nike's just waiting for like some lull, and then they're like
for the right time. They're like, here you go. You know, remember British Knights, BK Knights?
Yeah. Derek Coleman, baby. Derek Coleman.
Yeah, facts. There you go. That's what's up.
Yeah, British
BK Diamond Cells, yo.
Speaking of like things that we know Nike has cocked that they have never released. What are things that like we really look forward to coming back that haven't come back, or what are some retros that you need in the collection?
I have one on my mind. Well, I'm getting a grail of mine. I'm into off-hype Nike runners. This Saturday I have a chance at getting a personal grail of mine, and that's that Air 2 Max in the celery colorway. To me, I used to look back on the East Bay magazine and drool over getting that sneaker. I always loved it. I just never had the money to get it. You know, back in '99, I was in high school. So now I have the opportunity to get it. And I don't think there's much hype on there's hype. I can't figure out that because everything's hype now with Nike. Like you said before, Dave, it goes on sneakers app, it's selling out. So I'm stuck going resale with it, but the resale ends in high. And I have to have that sneaker. To me, that's important. But the one that has not released, that must be released, it hasn't been touched. There's a few. I could spit a couple of Nike sneakers out. Is the Air Max 96. The Air Max, it's like in the screen green colorway and a purple. They only had 2 OG colorways. To me, that sneaker must be released, and they've done it, but they've done it with like weird soles, and they've thrown a 95 air bubble on there. Like, it's just really whack the way they've done it. Give us a proper retro if you want to remaster everything with cheap materials. Give us a proper retro, the Air Max 96. I would also love I don't know if you guys know the Air Stab, short for Air Stability. If you could give me the OG colorway in the Air Stab. I saw Skepta is working on the Air Tailwind 5. I love that. You're taking me back to high school. That sneaker looks crazy. But you know what? My wheels are turning. I'm like, yo, they're gonna drop the OG colorways next year or something.
They have to.
You're gonna give us the tip with Skepta. Next year, you got to give us our OG range. So I'm pining after those, like, everybody knows the Air Max 90, the Air Max 1s. Everybody knows all that. Give me the obscure Air Maxes. Like, they came back with the Skylons. Me and Dave has talked about this. The Skylon to me is a sick, non-hype sneaker. Even Fear of God tried to do a collab, and those sat. You know what I mean? Like, like that. Give me the OG colorways in that Skylon 2. Let the kids rock Travis Scott. Let me rock Skylon 2s. And I can guarantee you, and I don't do it for this, but it's flattering. People will turn some heads like, oh, those sneakers are fresh. Those are dope. $60, on sale. And this is the sneaker I wanted since I was a kid. The fade, the weird, obscure writing Skylon 2. What the fuck is that? It's crazy. Dope. That's what that is. You know what I mean?
It's crazy because LeBron wore the one pair, like I think it was the blue and like purple, like faded one.
Oh, the eggplant color.
Yeah, and I loved it. So I almost bought those. Because a bunch of them went on sale, of course. But at the same time, I actually chose the Airspan 2s. And I still have my
Vans are dope too.
And do you know the main reason why is because, so for me, I knew that they would get dirty. Skylon 2s collect dust and they just get dirty instantly, and you can't clean them. So the Airspan 2 was what I decided on because I'm like, well, it's like the most of it's the side,
more durable,
fake leather, and there's more. And honestly, like, I still regret not getting the Skylon 2s, but like, you're right though, like, those obscure pairs, like the Air Structure, I think they sold out, didn't they?
I'm looking for them. I missed, and I'm trying.
I'm surprised. I was shocked that they sold out. I was shocked.
That's a pair. You nailed it. That's a pair that I love. I can't believe they retroed them back in 2008, and I struck out then, and I'm striking out, 20 years later. It's unbelievable. Whatever. But those are the type of pairs that I'm looking for. That Nike's going into the vault right now. And they're bringing them out, and I absolutely am all for it. I don't think the masses are for it. I don't know, because they're still selling out. I don't understand it, but they're not reselling for high, so I don't know what the deal is.
They just need to come out on Nike.com and not on.
That was a good point that you made. I agree with that. Yep.
I miss the Tailwind series. The Tailwind series was like that was everything for me in high school. The 4s, the 5s, just amazing. And I had like every color. And I kind of hate that Nike does like I'm gonna build hype with the collab pair first, because then it like makes all the other pairs, all the GR pairs, so hard to grab. But yeah, I'm really excited if they do some OG colors of the Tailwind 5. Like, that'll be amazing, because I love it. Love that shoe.
There was some colors that was so sick on that, and everybody's gonna go crazy for the Skepta, which I'm not even gonna try for, which I like. I think it's beautiful, but let the sheep have it. You know, I want to go here and I want to grab my OGs. You know.
Yeah, I actually like how the Kill Shot OGs released. I didn't know about them. I had no idea what they were, but then when they released, I'm like, oh, these are really nice. Those are the 2s though, right?
Yeah, these are the 2s. I don't like the one.
So I almost bought them like a ton of times. They went to like $50 Canadian on like during like a Black Friday sale last year.
These were.
What's the difference? What's the
these
difference?
These are 54.
What's the difference between 1s and 2s?
Big difference. It's the sole. The sole is like rubber versus like the original Kill Shot is like really thin. So like
I got the ones from J. Crew with the blue Nike with the
we got the same ones.
All right, so that's the 2 I got.
Those are the 2s. Yeah, the 2s remind me of like a Blazer Low. That's what they remind me of. Okay. But yeah, the original Kill Shots, they actually look super unique for what they are. But like, I don't know. So like, it's funny. The reason why I didn't, again, I'm very selective. Even if they're on sale, I'm like, okay. Again, it comes down to the comfort too, because I'm like, oh, that sole looks so thin. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna wear them.
I gotta look up the ones.
And like, but that was my take on it. But are we? Sorry, I walked away for a sec. Is it we're naming retros that we want back?
Yeah.
So because like again, for me, like I like their OG like Air Maxes that have already released. Like the 90s were the only one. So Air Max 90, I got the infrareds and the laser blues, and it's so funny because those are the only Air Maxes I have now, but they're the ones that I want. And if you talk to most people, they're like, oh, but you got OGs, you're fine, right? Like everything. Like, and to me, like, and with the reshape of the toe box, you know, despite our WhatsApp European community saying they're ugly shoes, I love them. I think they're a great shoe. Air Max 90s are a good looking shoe in my opinion. But,
I agree. It's a classic shoe.
It's an iconic. I like the booty. I like the big booty in the back. but yeah, so like it's funny. Like I didn't really think I couldn't think of something like what I would usually wear nowadays is like to retro, because again, like I don't know a ton about like a lot of the 80s and early 90s stuff, because well, I was just a couple years old, like I mean, like, at that point. But for me, I would love to see VC like Vince Carter's line come back, and that's just because I'm a Canadian. Air Canada, man, that was like the thing. You know what I mean? Like M1 re-released their Thai cheese like 2 years ago, but like I didn't get them because, again, no offense to M1, I'm not rocking M1s. It's not gonna happen. I love M1s, but they're not because I'm not gonna rock them playing basketball. They have no support. I'm not gonna rock them outside of that. You know, we're discussing that, right? Like my style has changed. I'm not just gonna buy a pair of shoes just to have them if I'm not gonna wear them. And to be honest, like the original VC1 and VC2s, I think the 2s were the ones that had like the shock, like small all the way to big. And it was just such a cool shoe. And I remember that commercial, right? Like Vince Carter, like just dunking, like with these, like, and it's crazy now because if you hold a shock, you're like, these are the heaviest shoes. How did Vince jump so high and do these ridiculous dunks in like bricks? Like they are bricks. They are not light.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I would love to see a retro of those, which is, it's just funny because like I would rock it because I'm like, yo, that is like the coolest shoe to me. You know what I mean? Like, because I couldn't afford them back in the day. My parents want to buy them for me, obviously, because they're a super expensive shoe. It's almost the same reasoning why the only LeBron I have are the Air Zoom Generations, right? Like the original pair, because when they re-released a couple years ago, I bought them, right? Because I'm like, man, I couldn't afford them then. I can't really afford them now, but I'm gonna buy them, right? And it's almost like that again. It's that nostalgia, right? Like like Vinny, you were talking about like the nostalgia behind those Air Maxes, right? Because you're like, yo, those are the pairs I loved while growing up. And for me, like what got me back into sneakers were basketball shoes, right? Like the time where like obviously AI was huge, but they're retroing all the like all the Iversons, and if you wanted a pair of the ugly answer 4s or 5s or whatever, you could get a pair. I almost bought them, but I'm like, I'm not gonna wear those. As much as I love AI, I'm not buying those. Like I don't know if you guys remember like the Vince Carter shocks, just because. Like,
yeah,
I'm looking them up. I'm looking up one of them.
So the ones
I remember.
Like,
I absolutely remember. He was the face of shocks for a while. Like
I remember the USA pair. That's the pair when he dunked over that guy.
Those are the BB4s though. Those already retroed.
They did, right?
well, because they're the BB4s, they're not actually like those were the first basketball shoes, and then they gave Vince Carter his pairs after. Which the BC1 is like a skin. It looks wild. It's like a wrap around your foot, and then they have like so it's black. That was the main color, and then it had red, like a red shock, and it was just like such a weird looking shoe. But I like the 2s because it was just such a big basketball shoe. Like it looked almost it could have been a 90s basketball shoe, but they just put like shocks all on the bottom. Shocks. They did nothing. We know that. We know that now. They did nothing. They're super uncomfortable. They're rock hard. But
I really want the Jason Kids to come back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Jason Kids. I'd like to see the Worms come back, just for nostalgia's sake. Sorry, I got the baby.
Yo, Rodman. Yes, Rodman shoes should come back. Oh,
you guys remember that Nike Air Zoom Citizen?
Yeah, I remember those.
That was another pair that I'm waiting if they ever re-release those, and they got to do them right though. Nike, don't play with my emotions. Like you release these obscure pairs, and then you go and you switch up colors and materials and
do some weird color.
I hate to bring up his name. Didn't Joe LaPuma bring that up on like a podcast like last year?
The one that reminded me of them. Yeah, I totally forgot. And I was like, oh, I remember these. They're so dope. And he's like that. He said he'll buy like 8 pairs when they.
I wish he actually said more of his thoughts sometimes when I listen to like Complex Sneakers podcasts and like you hear like, or if you like see his actual lists that aren't like the list that he's pumping up and the shoes he's like the sneakers he's wearing. But then like when he actually says the sneakers he's wearing, I'm like, man, why don't you talk about these obscure things? I'm like, oh yeah, you're like the head of Complex. Of course you're freaking not going to talk about a shoe that an 18-year-old kid's not going to buy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, and then I think that's why I respect like Welty so much, because despite him being hilarious, you know what I mean? Like he's like, and he's so direct with his stuff. He wears stuff that literally an old man would wear. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like,
he hates Puma. He hates Puma.
I know. Well, so the reason for that is literally the original history of it, because they're brothers, right? So I talked. So like it's like there's this Instagram, if you want to look it up, called ZX Boys, like with BOIZ, right? Or Z, sorry. But there's an Instagram group, and they actually got me into like the Adidas ZX line. And they, like when I'm talking about like my Puma, right? I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to get my Art Streamers when they release. And they're like, oh yeah, they're a nice shoe, but like I hate Puma. I'm like, why do you hate Puma? We're like, well, I said, I know the brothers hated each other, and that's why they made different companies. I said, are you seriously basing it on that? And they're like, yeah, I am. And they're like, that's why Welty. It's the same reasoning, man. He just shits on Puma for that exact reason.
Oh, really?
It has to be that reason. There's no reason you should hate Puma like that much. And it's because he's an Adidas head. He rocks this, well, he doesn't only rock that, but he rocks Specials. And from a 70s, 80s perspective, that's when Puma and Adidas hate each other the most.
Yeah.
Right? And like they won't say it, but like it's funny that I've spoken to like Adidas heads and they're like, yeah, that's why I won't rock Puma. And I'm like, well, that makes sense in that case. Or it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense. Like at least there's an excuse why like they don't do it. It's like, wow, I'm too much of an Adidas head that I won't.
Yeah.
I won't.
Diehard Knicks fans are like that. Tell them. Diehard Knicks fans won't wear Jordans.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Spike Lee wears them, right?
He's like with Jordan. And look what it got him. Got him kicked out. Dolan kicked him out.
They only wear Ewings.
It's wear Jordans, but like that's a good point. There's a strong contingency of people that won't wear Jordans because they're like, I'm a Knicks fan. And they'll make fun of me, or they'll make fun. How are you a Knicks fan wearing Jordans? The guy made our lives miserable,
Like Gary V, he won't wear Jordans. Won't wear Jordans. Refuses.
I love it. I respect that. I respect that fandom.
I forgot that about Knicks fans. Totally forgot about that. That's hilarious. I think that's why like they all wear Uptowns, right? AKA Air Force Ones. They're like, nah, it's not Jordans. That's their shoe. And like, it's still Nike and Jordan. You know that, right?
Yeah. Nothing with a jump can on it. I really want Air Bacon's back too. I was thinking about them when
they released a couple years ago though.
Yeah, they did. They released a couple of years ago, and like I didn't. I was like, and then I don't know what it was, but like a few weeks later, I was like, why? Like, why did I pass on that shoe? Like that was a shoe that like I saw in high school. I didn't really like it in high school, and then you see it later. They retroed in like the mid 2000s, I think, and
like 05, 06.
Yeah. And then I saw him then, and I'm like, okay, like
which color did you like better? Did you like the red and yellow color? Did you red, yellow, black?
So originally I liked the blue pair better, right?
Blue pair is dope.
But then like now I'm kind of like, oh, that red pair though. Like there's just something about it that like it has like this weird ACG vibe to it too. Like
for sure. Yeah.
So like
ACG.
I don't know. I want those to come back. There's just a lot of obscure like basketball stuff that like, you saw it for like a year or two, and then it's not.
So
it hasn't retroed yet.
So it was 2013 is the last time they did it, and you want to know something hilarious? Like 2 years later, my cousin found a pair in the outlet for like $40.
I'm sure.
And they're I just looked it up. Do you know how much they're selling for? Like it's insane.
400.
No, double that. Not double. Might be a little. Like it says 979 Canadian, so that's about 750 American or so, which is insane. Like that's just.
You're not gonna get a proper retro on that sneaker because not to bring it up, but the whole Satan shoe that Lil Nas X is doing, the Air Bacon came under a lot of flack because the writing of bacon on the heel, it looked like it was saying Allah. If you looked at it in the right way, it looked like it said Allah.
Yeah.
It's completely like idol worship and completely forbidden in the Muslim religion. So like that sneaker, you're just getting a Nike Air on the back. They're not gonna get it properly retro the way it originally came out, which is interesting.
They're gonna fix the lining.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting that you brought up that sneaker when this is all going on in the sneaker world right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that controversy because I thought you brought it up in the chat too, and that
I did bring it up,
and that made me think of it, and I was like,
nobody said anything. I brought that up. I was like, I guess I'm the only one that knew about it.
I remember it vaguely from like way back, but it wasn't like something that really stuck in my mind until you brought it back up again. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
And Nike released a statement that they didn't do it on purpose, but I don't know. It looked, I don't know. It looked crazy. Dope sneaker, though. Great pick.
James, domestic, I know you got some pairs that you want to see that you.
Bro, I mean, there are pairs. God damn. Of course. There's a ton of pairs. I mean, first of all, I'd like to see them start with the first run of SB line. The Nike SBs, the 2002s and up. Anything pre-Bison, I'm with it. You know what I mean? Like they've never not that I remember, they haven't retroed a single SB yet. It's been 20 years. So come on with it. You know what I'm saying? I need ostriches. I need another round of Broncos. You know what I'm saying? I'll use some Vamps. I have them all, but they're getting dusty, and I wore the shit out of them because they were cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I need one for the closet storage unit, just in case for when that time comes. Oh well, yeah. So, I mean, and there's so many shoes. So I look forward, not necessarily for retros. I look forward to seeing Nike expand on their collaborative efforts as far as the silhouettes that I love, because there's silhouettes that I love, and there's, I mean, the 90s, the ones, those are silhouettes that are always going to be classic to me, and I want to see other people get involved in them and do things with them. SBs, Dunk, same thing. These are classics that I'm going to rock, and I'm going to wear them all the time. I want to see who they're going to get involved with and who they're going to get inspired from, and who's going to see what they can do with theirs. I mean, the Cause 90 is one of my favorite 90s ever made, and I have the white one. I would love to get my shot at a black one without having to give up my firstborn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the Futura SBs to come back. I would love a shot at the London's shoes that I took for granted at the time. You know what I'm saying? That I wish I wouldn't have. And it's not necessarily because I want to have this. Yeah, I want it. You know what I'm saying? I want that shoe because I don't have it now.
To wear it,
and for whatever, to wear it. I want to rock it. Like, I look at it And now, I mean, if I was to get the Londons, like that's gonna cost me damn near 20 racks. Like I'm good. I can't. What? Like if I get that's an investment on a house. As much as I would love to wear it, I just can't do that. It's just it would be absurd. I would love to see the What the Dunk come right back, so I could wear the ones that I have. I have 2 pair. I would love to wear one. You know what I'm saying? Without feeling guilty, so I wouldn't mind having them back. Because I'll wear the 1 pair, but I have the other one sitting on ice, and I don't really even know why I'm doing that because I don't beat my shoes to death. There's the God damn, there's so many. There's the Para, all the Para Air Maxes. I would love the Cherry Woods. I'd love to get those. You know what I'm saying? I would love the Amsterdam.
Cherry Woods, so good.
Please. I mean, and that's the Para, the chlorophylls. Please, what are we doing? Can I get that? Like, come on, stop playing with me. There are grails that we are not even talking about that are yet to even be considered a re-release. So, I mean, I don't even need the name attached to them. Give me the colorway, and then I'm good.
I'm gonna go controversial. Oh, good.
No, I was gonna say, like, we just saw a reissue of pretty much the Clot Air Max one, right? Like Vinny, you grabbed those. Like,
I got 2 pair.
You got 2 pair.
That's what I'm talking about.
I hit raffles.
Oh,
I'm gonna get rid of a pair.
But
go ahead.
Does that mean? Do you think we're gonna get like? I feel like people think like it's blasphemous to go back and like do some of those classic collaborations over again. Like we got the Supreme Dunks, right? And like it was all different colors, right? Completely different colors. And like, but I don't want that. Like I feel like, like I took for granted a lot of dunks that came out. I took for granted a lot of Air Max collabs that came out. And I would love to have them again. Is it blasphemous for them to come back out with a collab?
Yes and no, absolutely, damn right. Yes, 100% blasphemous, but I don't care.
Yeah,
like I do it. I want them. Like the kid.
I agree.
Stop playing with me.
Keep releasing them. Like at the end of the day, if I can't get them the first time, give me another crack at them. You know, they're shoes at the end of the day, and I don't want to rock them. I don't collect to collect to show off. I collect because it expresses me. You know what I mean? My art is on my feet, and I want them. If I didn't get a chance to get them, like those structures, we brought up the air structures before. I didn't get them in 08. You know, I just had started my career. I tried back then, and people like hate the way sneakers get released now. To me, it's all the same. It was hard now as it was hard back then. Now I'm just doing it. I'm taking the L sitting in my warm house. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? So to me, I just think give us a crack at sneakers. I get what you're saying. I understand the question. Things are sacred. But the way the retro cycle is not, it used to be 10, 20 years. When it comes to Jordan, that retro cycle is now what, 4 or 5 years? They came out with a statement. It was like, we're going to put the 3 in the vault. So I'm like, all right, they're going to chill out with 3s and we won't see 3s for
2 years.
So it took them what? Yeah, 1.5 years, 2 years.
A year.
Came out with another 3. Like they can't. The money is there. They're giving you shit materials. They gave us bullshit remastering. They raised the prices, and on top of that, a top exec has got his kids botting it all up, Adidas for no less, and selling it to us, and we're a bunch of schleps, you know. So I want it to be playful. I want him to be able to walk into a Foot Locker. I don't shop at Foot Locker anymore. To me, it's a waste of time. Sizing's good. My sneaker's good, and I got the experience of talking to the employee. Like all that is gone, you know. So keep releasing them. Air Max 90 infrared should be readily available. Does it cheapen the sneaker? It probably does in the long run, but I don't know how many years do I have on this earth, and how many with all the sneakers I have, how many wears am I going to get out of it? You know, like I take that all into consideration now as a seasoned vet in the game. And it's like, you know, whatever. I don't know.
So not to mention, most of these shoes are they fall apart after 12, 13 years.
Right.
You know
Air Maxes
like,
especially.
Go ahead. Yeah, they go to. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up a box and I'm like, God, I never even wore these, and they're done. You know what I mean? Like they're crumbled. These are early 2000 pairs, because I forget what year it is. But back to what you said, Dave, like the Supreme Dunks re-releasing in the low. I don't mind that necessarily. If you're not going to give me the OG, give me the next iteration. What's the next process? What's the next creative idea that you got? So if you're gonna do the Air Max 90 bacon, cool. If you don't want to do that one again, well then we're gonna do the bacon part 2, and I want to see what they got. You know what I mean? Like, give me that. But we saw the bacons be released, so let's keep it going. Come on. There are shoes I need.
So I'm gonna go contra. I was originally gonna say Jordan 1s, Breads, Royals, and Shadows should be readily available, like at least every quarter. I think they should be because they're a classic shoe. They should be available. They should be 100% available. However,
oh no,
I'm gonna go more. I'm gonna go more controversial. Air Yeezy 2 should come back 100%, and name it something else. Make it, instead of Yeezy, say something else, because Solar Red Air Yeezy 2s are my grail. They always will be, and I will never be able to afford them. Just freaking release them. Release all 3 colors, and
say it louder.
Even if they release at $350 or whatever, I don't freaking care.
I wouldn't put it past Nike to do that. Exactly what you just said.
Need to
release that sneaker with a different name and switch a couple things, and they'll be like, "This is the Air."
Or like, that's what I mean. Like release all 3 and do it at the same time. So at least freaking we can get at least 1 pair. You know what I mean?
Own that pair.
Because what Ronnie does with his releases, he releases like a ton of pairs of like that palette. At least if you wanted one, you could have went for one and got one, versus like Nike releasing one of them, and you're just like SOL, because it's like, you are not going to get this pair. But if they release Air Yeezy 2s again, I don't think the younger generation will buy it because it's not the look that they want. The only reason why they would buy it is because for resale, of course. But if they re-release those, it would drop the pricing down. It'll make it affordable in the resale. I don't buy resale. I've gone over that in another podcast, but like, it's just like, I wish they re-released those, all 3 of them, even the original pair. Actually, they're easy.
There you are. There it is. That's what I was gonna say. If you're gonna release the 3, release the 6. Damn it, you know what I mean? Let me get them off, because I need another pair of Blinks tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as possible. Like first thing in the morning, I'm on my way. If that was the thing. As far as the Jordan 1s, nah, keep those where they at. The other, I'm good on that. I don't need. We talked about this. Why? I don't need Larry from across the street mowing the lawn in his bread.
Yeah,
you just be like, look, bro, I remember. I can't have that. I can't have that.
I listened to
you know
that.
What I mean?
Like, you know what? But Jay, but listen, I would be fine if I could double up on Shadows every time they came out, or if I could double up on Breads every time they came out easily, then it'd be okay. But the problem is, I could barely get 1 pair. So it's like, I got this pair of Shadows right here, and I wear them, and they're like my number 1 beat shoe. And so now I'm waiting for a retro. I'm like,
they look good beat.
They do.
Hey, you won't have to wait long. They're doing the 2.0 this year, and I'm sure the 1.0 will be back till you're good. But every quarter, no, stop it.
Listen, no. But here's my thing. I say drop them until the resale price hits retail, and then you can stop.
Chicago.
Then you stop reselling. Then you stop dropping them. Right when the resale price is at retail, you stop dropping them.
But what's the Jordan 1 rotation? What was it? What was it when the Shadows dropped? 2017? 17 or 16?
Okay, so they're used to be doing every 5 years, but they're behind,
right?
Because the Bread should have released last year.
Right, because I remember they dropped the Breads in 16 or in 13, and they dropped them again in 16. Called them the band that time, but I mean the same shit. Same thing with the Royals. The Royals dropped in 13 and dropped in 16 or 17, and then So I mean, it's not like they don't come back around long enough for you to
I know,
them.
It's just
every quarter
matter. I need 2
we don't get them. That's the problem. We don't get them.
That is the shitty part.
The only Jordan I care about now, the only one I want, the only one that's been elusive, I'm embarrassed to even say I never owned it, is the Bread 1. The Bread 1, I need to get. I don't have it. I have the Royal, and I'm fine. I only like OG Jordans if I'm going to get a Jordan. And to the point we were talking about with LeBron before, why LeBron is not as popular as, or it won't have the staying power.
It's performance versus the other,
but there's another point. There's another point we got to say. So I'm going to throw the Kobe line in there too. All these lines, these shoes are not sacred. the Jordans are sacred, especially the OG colors, because they only came out with about 3 colors a year. He had an all-star, a home, away, and a playoff. You know, he had average 4 colors per year. That was it. That's all Nike made. No PEs, no. LeBron's got like 30 colors of the sneaker, of the, let's say the 12, whatever he's up to. And then he's got the elite version, the low version, the summer version. Like he's got like Kevin
Soldiers,
Durant. Yeah, Kevin Durant's another one who's got like all these different types of versions. And then it'll be like, all right, here's LeBron's MVP version. That's the special one. It's like, it's too many. It's oversaturation for a line, and it's not sacred. And to me, to answer that earlier question, that's why Jordan has the staying power. The OG colorways will always sell out in that 1 through 14 range that he wore. You know, yeah, they've made their profits with their other colors. They drop a Jordan every single Saturday now. Every Saturday a Jordan comes out. That wasn't the case, even with the retros. That wasn't the case when we were younger. 10 years ago, they were dropping maybe 5 retros a year, if that, or 1 per quarter, I think it was. You know what I mean? And we're like, yo, we got to get that. We got to get that charcoal 9. You know, that's an OG color. You know, whatever. I don't know. Like, I think the sneakers are overly saturated. NBA basketball played itself out when they were doing that Galaxy run with the foams and the Barclays, the Ray Guns,
LeBron 9.
the LeBron 9. That whole thing was that. And then like 2 years after that, the bubble bursted. You know, they jumped the shark because they did too much. The prices went through the roof, and they ruined a really good thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think Nike just is doing too much, and now they're retroing Kobe. Like I'm not a West Coast guy. I'm not a Kobe guy. You know. And the line to me is better than LeBron's, but it's nothing. I don't wear baseball sneakers, you know, not anymore. So like as they're coming out with the Protos and the Grinches, and it's not special to me, you know. Like
Grinches are fire though.
Yo, they've released how many colors of that 8? The 8 is my favorite Kobe out of all the Kobe's.
Mine too.
Yeah. Yo, they dropped
every one.
Dude, they dropped like it was like 22 pairs. You know, which was the more important one that Kobe wore? You know, which colorway was it? I don't know. You know, was it the home color? Was it the Grinch, the Christmas bear? Every you know, it was too many. Nike's too greedy, and they're their own worst enemy.
You're right.
They don't care about the sneakerhead aspect though. They just know they're gonna sell a ton of shoes. They just know.
But then they'll give us limited drops on like shoes that they know the demand is really there for. So it's like it's real schizophrenic to me. It's mixed messages. I don't know.
They don't care, man. They just care about the bottom line.
They're all bottom line, which I get. Corporation, do what you got to do, but
look at they make like what the Air Tangent or whatever it is that goes to like Ross for like $20. You know what I mean? Like it's like no one buys those shoes, right? Like I think I had this. I don't know if I spoke about it last time. I don't know. I speak about this to a lot of people, but like, do you know Nightwing 2303, right? Wear testers, Chris, right? He brought up the point when he was reviewing the Cosmic Unities, and he's saying, if you truly want to make a difference in the world with like your footprint and recyclable materials, he's like, it's BS, because he's like, this is 20%. Adidas has been doing half their stuff, and they just made the Stan Smith completely recyclable. But the thing is, he goes, if you truly care, even if you do 20%, just stop making the shoes that go to Ross for $20. No one buys them. Make the shoes that people want. They'll buy them, and you don't have to worry about making the excess shoes that people just leave in the landfill because they fall apart in 2 seconds. It's like if people truly want, like you can drop a Roshi, right? Like they still make Roshis. They were a good shoe. They still are a decent shoe. I wouldn't run in them, but like, why make a Roshi and then a Tangent that's like worse looking for half the price and then try to sell it? And it's like Nike doesn't care though, right? Like you could tell that to Nike. Hundreds of thousands of people could tell it to Nike, but guess what? That's not enough. There's gonna be 1 million people that buy those cheap, crappy Nikes. They just don't care. hate to say it, they just don't. They don't care. They care about the bottom line, and they're the best marketing company in the world. With like, let's be honest, like one of the best marketing companies in the world. Like you said, the swoosh right up there in McDonald's, just because.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That logo is everything.
All right, boys. I got a dip. I'm
Me
getting
too.
called over here. It's been a pleasure.
All right, have a good one,
See you guys
James.
later. All right. Hey, it was a good time. Later, fellas. Let's do it again.
I wanted to say this one thing that that the thing about Nike is, why would they sell you exactly what you want, what you want, when they could sell you part of what you want and still have you feeling like, oh, I still have a need. Why would I give you? Why would I fulfill that need when I can milk that need for years and years? Why would I give you a bread when I could give you a bread toe, and then come back and give you
the patent leathers that you say you like? Oh,
give you something else, give you a little bit of something else, right? Like, why? Why would I do that? Like, of course, I'm gonna milk you for $1,000 in Air Jordan 1s over 10 years, rather than give you the one Jordan 1 you want.
That's the genius part of them. That's where they're genius for that. And I'm like you guys, I'm selective. I want the bread in its original sort of.
I want the 85 cut. I want the 85 cut bread. Man,
even better. Yeah.
Forget the freaking limited like version of like natural grays and all that. Just give me the 85 cut. Stop releasing it during All-Star Weekend. Stop releasing it in a case. Freaking give it people what they want. Just release a ton. Release whatever thousands and like release a GR run of them. How about that? Release a full GR run. They'll sell out. They'll still sell out. They'll still resell for double the price of what they are. And
their quality control would be horrible. I could tell you that.
Their quality control is the worst, man.
I gotta tell you, those bacons, good materials. The materials are like passable for Nike standards, not bad.
For Nike standard,
the quality control on it is horrific. Pen marks on. I got pen marks on mine. It's unbelievable.
So many people complain about quality.
Interesting.
And that's a special shoe to a lot of people. That first limited run, I remember when those dropped.
I wanted
Dave's Quality Meats. Like that was like such a cool iteration to a classic silhouette, and it was cool. Like they exactly did what we just said for. They did a retro release, and they did it on a more massive scale. I don't know how many pairs they were, but it looks like a lot more people got their hands on it this time around. But again, and they did it right with the materials. But they screwed up with like like people waiting in lines, who's paying resale, like it wasn't we got to go through hoops and obstacles to get our hands on it. And then when you finally get it in hand, you open it up, you hope to have a brand new sneaker that has got no blemishes, no oil stains, it's weird stuff. And it's like, come on, nobody checked the stitching on it. And Nike's got it. This is another point. Nike's on a very slippery slope. In terms of everybody's talking about how fakes have gotten better. No, fakes have always been whatever standard they're at. I think Nike's quality has gotten so low that now I don't think the fakes have caught up. I think Nike has dropped. And, they are like, I know enough people that would never buy fakes before. They're buying them now, and nobody would know the difference. So an Air Jordan 1 is probably one of the easiest sneakers to bootleg. You know what I mean? It doesn't have too many panels to it.
So it's a swoosh. The swoosh is for whatever reason, the fakes, the swooshes are like thick and thin. Oh no, they're too thick usually. Sorry, I know a lot about that space. I've explored it. Not to buy, but like I got bit on one pair, and then I looked it up on Reddit, and I just joined the rep sneaker community. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting, but yeah, like it's crazy. Like people will post their retails versus reps. Like they'll buy both, and they'll be like even the quality is better on the rep.
If I'm Nike, if I'm a Nike exec, I would be severely concerned with that. I'd be like, oh my God, like this is an issue for us, but their bottom line is really the most important thing, and it's kind of sad, but I'm in a toxic relationship with Nike.
I gotta go, guys. I'm being.
I gotta head out too.
All right.
All right. Good chat, guys. That was a really good one.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on tonight. Really appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too.